the pillar of digital trust and resilience. In the field of cybersecurity industry, today at the HITEX, the great event at this panel, we are going to focus on the new industry in our region. This is Abdullah Ahmed, 8 years experience of cybersecurity and ethical hacking. Today, I like to moderate this panel, and I would like to talk about our topics that today we are going to cover it. In the first stage, pillars of digital trust and resilience, such as data privacy, cybersecurity, and trust warrant. In the second stage, we are focusing on addressing emergencies and challenges, impact trust, resilience, and in mitigating risk, ensuring compliance. In the last field, we are going to discuss about collaboration and partnerships, which means the collaboration between internationals and government, private sectors, the companies, and academia, such as high schools, university. In my left side, I would like to introduce and thanks all these panels to come from the long way to participate at the HITEX panel in digital trust and resilience. In my left side, Dr. Jamal Hussein, the General Director of Ministry, Transport and Communication, which he has PhD in Newcastle University of UK. And in the other side, Mr. Saif Aliash is account manager of Fortinet company to provide cybersecurity services, and thank us for coming from
those possible gap.
In other side, we have Mr. Haider Ali, the CEO of Twin Networks company for providing cybersecurity networks and services, and they are providing cybersecurity among all the Europe. And thank you so much for coming from the long way from others of the world to provide your knowledge, your experience with our audience. I would like to let my panels to share the vision of the cybersecurity industry at the beginning before going to ask and questions. Dr. Jamal Hussein, please.
Thank you, Mr. Abdullah. Thank you, everyone, for coming here today. Thanks for the HITEX for this event. Actually, cybersecurity is a very important topic for nowadays, especially we are moving. The technology is improving and growing every day. In terms of cybersecurity, there are two terminology which are very crucial and important. First one is data protection, and the second one is data privacy. So the data protection is simply that you make the data available under any circumstances. That's the simplest definition of the data protection. The second one is data privacy, which means that you only allow the permitted parties or authorities to reach the intended data. So if you can provide these two or maintain these two things in your data, you can say that you are secure or you are implemented the main part of the data, the cybersecurity.
Thank you so much. Next one, Mr. Saif Alish.
Hello. Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining this panel. I would love to give a big thanks to HITEX for the invitation and for this nice event. My name is Saif Aliash. I'm sales manager for Fortinet. I'm sure everyone knows Fortinet. Actually, for the cybersecurity, once we think about maybe business or even in our life, in our company, if we're doing a role, even if it's not related to cybersecurity, maybe you are not IT or infrastructure engineer, cybersecurity for me is a lifestyle. Uh, Even when you think someone is chatting with you, building a new relationship, ask you specific questions. What's your name? What's your date? The kid's name? How old are you? He's collecting information. So for me or for any cybersecurity gentleman, we start thinking, we start to be alerted. This is maybe a social engineering. So cybersecurity is a team play first. It's a lifestyle. You have to think about how to protect yourself, how to protect your business. Nowadays, the threat landscape is developing so much. So now we are start to seeing a lot of sophisticated threats and cyber crimes compared to the like say 10 years ago back. And even for the market, we saw a lot of digitalization. It's happening everywhere. Now no one of us is taking a taxi from street. We go application. No one calling the restaurant directly. We use application. So our life is being digitalized without we are feeling that. And in that side, it's open a lot of threat landscape to us. So we have to think about how to secure our business, our even work and job and stuff with the new era, let's call it.
Thank you so much. Yes, Mr. Haider, what's your vision about this industry in our region that's kind of new in our region, and now there's a lot of focus on this cybersecurity field in Iraq?
So basically, cybersecurity is one of the main topics today in the industry. We have cybersecurity, AI, and renewable energy. And cybersecurity is the most crucial part, and it's going to be the main topic for the next 10 years. And it's affecting everyone today, if from an individual level to a government level. And also what we found that there is a very big gap in the cybersecurity, especially in this region. And we, as a company, operate in this industry, and we deal with different vendors. We found that there is a very potential opportunities for the government, for the vendors, for the even for the organizations, commercial organizations like our and to invest in cybersecurity. Also, the government. This is something that we should also highlight. The Kurdistan region right now is opening to the world, and after ISIS, and a lot of things are changing now. We encourage the government here to provide training and maybe ease access to vendor training that will increase the awareness in the society. And starting from the primary school, simple lectures by cybersecurity officers. They can visit the primary schools and explain to the kids the importance of having their identity secure, not to show their faces and expose it to the internet and share their family photos online, and ending with the government employees and showing them what's the differences between phishing, spoofing, and how they can protect themselves inside the organization. So inshallah, this event is opening our eyes to the region and encouraging us to do more in Kurdistan.
Thank you so much. Thank you all for sharing your vision of the cybersecurity industry in our region. And now I'm going to start to key pillars of digital trust and resilience, which it is focusing on fundamentals of the digital trust and resilience. And in the fundamental of trust, organizations ensure privacy of user data with this still utilizing it for business purpose.
Yeah, that's a good question. How to protect the privacy of the data? I believe the first one is the companies or the industry should only collect the necessary data about the customers or consumers or the users. So they don't necessarily collect everything about individuals. Maybe only some important information or basic information. That's the basic level. The second one is awareness. Awareness, giving the awareness and sharing how the end users to protect their privacy, their data, and do not give information to other parties if they get, for example, the phone call asking for information. The second one for the industry to protect the privacy is sometimes you need to test your system. For example, you can ask the third party to test your system if it is enough. Is it protected? So, for example, you can hire someone and ask them to attack your system and check your system if it is protected. Then you can get certified. And this needs to be continuously updated because we all know that technology is growing, and whatever you do, the other parts also improve themselves or make themselves stronger or can find what are your weakness. So it's important that your system continuously checked and assessed by the third party. That's another issue. The second, another point is encryption of the data using some strong softwares or algorithms to encrypt your data, protect the privacy of the industry.
Do you think that companies in Iraq and Kurdistan region especially, they are encrypting their customers' data, they are on the process with the policy, international policies for protecting data privacy?
That's a very good question. Actually, whatever you do at the end of any contract, there is a terms and conditions. So these terms and conditions should be very clear to both sides. What's asked and what's protected. And if the company or the industry or any part signed that your data is protected, they should obey to this contract.
Of course. Thank you. In the same field of data privacy, a question for Mr. Haider. What are some best practices for implementing data privacy measures in an interconnected digital industry?
But before we start thinking of how to implement the data privacy inside an organization, we must follow a specific regulation in every country. If let's say, I'll take as an example, if I'm an Iraqi company and I'm acquiring data from the European Union, then I have to follow the data privacy policy and regulation for the European Union because I'm collecting data from European Union citizens. Now, that's why when we speak about data privacy and policies, we need to go back to the regulatory, like Dr. Jamal said. And the regulation is very important here. We take the GDPR as an example. Was one of the toughest regulation been applied on companies in the world. And all companies around the world, there is no exclusion. There's no company saying, no, I cannot implement it if those companies are acquiring data through their website, through their mobile apps, through their platforms from the European Union citizen. An example, that someone using a mobile app designed in Kurdistan, and this person is maybe a citizen from the Netherlands or from Finland, then this company in Kurdistan should obey the GDPR regulation, and they have to implement the infrastructure according to that regulation. Now, talking about Kurdistan region, specifically and Iraq in general, the regulator has to start putting pressure on the companies and to implement and follow specific regulation. And this regulation has to be announced to those companies and has to have a transparency between the regulatory and the company. We speak about the data privacy on a website. We see a lot of websites. Those websites, you visit them, and you don't see a privacy policy put on the website. It is very wrong and dangerous to have a website published without having your privacy policy written, and you need to speak to your lawyer before you put that privacy policy on the website, and you have to be clear about what your website is collecting. Today, a very simple plugin, WordPress plugin, can collect your location, your device ID, a lot of things, and you don't know. You are browsing maybe a magazine, or you are trying to do an e-commerce, a shopping. Well, at the same time, that website is doing data acquisition on your machine. So data privacy is a big topic today, and it has to be implemented in a way that those companies will never apply their regulatory policies. They should pay high penalties. Maybe people don't like this. People will say, no, this is too much. But this is how you enforce this law. Penalties, regulation. You follow the regulation, no penalty. You don't follow the regulation, you pay the penalty. And this is how every one of us start educating each other. And if I have a web developer in my company, immediately I say, I can't see the privacy policy on my customer's website. Speak to them and get the legal team to give you the privacy policy. And there are so many free websites online. They can give you a free privacy policy by answering very simple questions about what's your website, what's your mobile app doing, and then you can publish this privacy policy on your platform. And I'm sure the Apple mobile application developers, they all know about this, because Apple start forcing the developer to put the link for the privacy policy belong to their organization.
Of course. Thank you so much. But from your research of Iraq industry in this field, did you see that companies here are on the process with the regulations that you were talking about, and like PCI, GDPR? Did you see anything like this in the companies here?
In the last few months, we start getting many inquiries from commercial sectors as well as government, asking about if we can help in implementing the PCI compliance, especially the financial organization, also the data center providers. All the financial organization, banks or wallets providers, they should have their privacy policy well maintained. Also the data center providers. Now we see growing market for data center providers, privately owned and government, inviting companies, commercial, and come and build your platform on my data center. You don't need to invest in your CapEx. Let us just do the OpEx for you. This is very important for them to meet the regulation. But as I said, we should start from the regulatory. If there is no regulation for the privacy policy and enforce regulation, there will be an ease and neglection about whether this is going to be implemented in the right way, or it will be just passed to the next year, or maybe to the year after, until we have a very bad data breach. As Dr. Jamal mentioned, a penetration test is a very good practice. Companies like fintech and data center provider can do maybe once every 90 days. And you don't need to hire a very special team from overseas and you spend a lot of money. You can invest in your team, build your own SOC team and train them well, and ask them to go and do the pen test. And if you get a result showing that you have vulnerability, then you go and search and implement and invest money to close that gap in your cybersecurity infrastructure.
Thank you so much. We wish that in processing the registration of companies from the now, one of the most important things is to force the companies to implement PCIs and let the companies like providers, like they can check the PCIs. As you said, we need protectors. In the same field of data privacy, Mr. Said, how can individual and organization region trust in the handling and protection of personal data?
Yes. So this is very important question, actually. As my colleagues already collaborate and talk about the same topic, sometimes we do a business. Like I have some websites, some people go and do register, they put their names, address, maybe even credit card numbers, more information. It's personal data information. And so if you own a business that you have people from worldwide to register and type their personal information and you store it in your data center, believe me, you are at the high risk. There is a lot of regulation from worldwide, as Haidar said, like example, GDPR. GDPR, if you have a data leak or data or privacy leak, something, you get a very big high refine. So you have to pay to the GDPR for not following the regulation. So the industry nowadays is very organized. You have the regulations and you have some rules to follow. You cannot skip. Sometimes we as a IT engineer or even IT managers, we cannot go and convince our management, our business owner to do investment on the security. They said it is not so. Why I have to pay money for this? He want to pay for necessary thing and continue his business and stuff. No, actually, this is very important, and there is a lot of already defined rules and solutions to help you protecting this private data. So personal data is very important to protect, and there is a rules to follow and organizations, regulations also to follow. For this one, we can help. There is a lot of solutions, and our company as well as a supplier, we can help the organization to understand these rules to get you on the right track and what is the investment is needed to follow these rules.
Thank you so much, Mr. Said. From all of these answers, I like to add extra points. Many times, people are facing many issues with their digital trust, with digital data, which the issue is always they are looking for free things, something for free, but they don't know that they are losing their data, which many big companies right now, they are using your data, but they are giving you something for free. But in the same time, they are charging you by your data. So now, many of companies are just looking for the data, which data is much more important for them than the money. In the second fundamental of key of pillar of digital trust, with Dr. Jamal, organization resilience. What role does employee training and awareness play in strengthening organizational resilience? You see that many employees in government, they need cybersecurity awareness program. They need training. So how do you see that if government will start this process, it's affecting the ministries, the employees?
Actually, in Kurdistan region, we have two authorities which work which their job is related to cybersecurity. One of them is the Ministry of Transport and Communications, and the second one is the Directorate of Information Technology from the Council Ministers. So these two authorities in KRG, I think it's very important to sit with each other and find the best solution for this issue, because I believe we are behind the process. Yeah, training is the most important part for the employee. If you don't train your employee, you can't ask them how to protect your system. Now I can see there are many data centers installed in KRG, more than 25, to the best of my knowledge. Are these data centers according to the standards? Most of them no. Who tested and who give them permission, and who do we have trainees to check these data centers? So when you put your data in these data centers, are they protected? Do they have the recovery system? So these are all needs to be done with the trainings. And the problem, to be honest with you and with the audience, the problem with the government, when you ask for the training, it takes a long time. The process is very long. For example, if I ask for a training for 3 or 4 engineers, it takes more than 6 months to get the acceptance. And maybe after get the acceptance, there is no budget for this. So, or maybe the training is expired because, you know, in cybersecurity, it's updated. If you are not going with the same pace, so you will be behind them. And this routine in the process of getting budget, getting the training is the main problem. So the solution of this is cooperation with the private sector. So now we have companies which are expertise in this area. Inside Iraq, inside KRG, we can get benefit from these companies because most of them, just like Safe, HITEX, they are coming from outside, from Australia. So they have very good knowledge and expertise people. So maybe they can shortcut this to the government and they can propose the trainees for the government staff. This will maybe the best solution and the optimum solution of this problem.
Thank you so much. So what I got from your point is the main problem is the budget.
Yes.
And the second one is like Mr. Haider and Mr. Saif, they have to propose what they can do, what they can
For the government.
training.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Mr. Haider, how organizations enhance their cybersecurity posture to mitigate risks and protect sensitive information?
This is a very important question.
Yes.
It is very hard to say what I'm supposed to do to make my system secure and my data maybe it's leaked or not. So the best practice is to follow a framework. The framework here, we have more than 25 international framework specialized in cybersecurity. We can, like the ones I remember, ISO 27001, ISO 27002, the NIST framework, SOC 2, COBAT. We have also the High Trust. So these frameworks helps the organization to understand where we start from and what's the requirement in terms of investing in our equipment or investing in our people. Shall we change our server infrastructure first, or we have to start with the training and increase the awareness, as Mr. Dr. Jamal said? So framework is one of the things that other organizations should follow, and they have to pick one of the frameworks that it is well known, respectful, like GTP. If I deal with the European Union, immediately I'll go to the global data, general data protection and regulation, which is the GDPR. If I deal with the American corporation, I may go with NIST, NIST. And those frameworks in general, they help the organization to improve their infrastructure, starting from identification, detection, the protection, the respond, and the recovery. All these steps, each one of them has got a set of rules and set of procedures should be followed by the team. The second thing is the training. Investing in the training is very important. It doesn't need to be, when we say training, it doesn't need to be that I'm creating a SOC team or a cybersecurity officers in my organization. But if I'm let's say a financial institute and I have 1,000 employees working for me, at least I provide them with cybersecurity awareness training. The cybersecurity awareness training, it is not technical, but it is about people behavior, the daily practices. If I receive a phishing email or spoofing, or I'm using just my computer and I'm watching videos and all of a sudden I have pop, what should I do? If I'm a simple in my knowledge and I started working in a very respectful organization and all of a sudden I become the one who encrypt all the data and made that organization lose their reputation, lose money, maybe their shares, the stock market went down in the price. And we talk here about multi-million-dollar losses. We have a few incidents in the history. people learn from them. The Yahoo case. We have the Target case. We have cases that we need to study. And these cases, they are real. Yahoo lost over $30 million, I think, $1 billion in the stock market when this happened. So it is very critical for organizations to follow the framework. The third one, framework training. And the third one is, I'm not sure whether it exists in Iraq. It's called cyber security insurance. It is available in Australia. Every organization with sensitive data, they have to have a cyber security insurance. What the insurance useful for? If I have an incident, a data encryption attack, and it is not because my neglection. I have fulfilled all the requirements. I have hired the expert. I have everything in a place. And the cyber security insurer knows that everything is done properly. And this incident encrypted my data, and the hackers asking for $5 million ransom. Then the insurer will pay the hackers, and I will recover my data in a quick time and back online without losing my reputation in the market. And this is an invitation for all the insurance company in Iraq to start investing in building a cyber security insurance policies for the large organizations, and especially the banks and the data center providers, as Mr. Jamal said.
Thank you so much, Mr. Haider.
Thank you.
Mr. Saif, how can business effectively recover from cybersecurity incident and ensure business continuity? As Mr. Haider, he talked about disaster recovery, the insurance that companies, they have to provide, and they do have to have it. So what you see from recovering and business continuity? Because the most important points in cybersecurity is to help to business continuity. So how do you see that?
For sure, there is a lot of steps we have to take in consideration once we start designing our solution. Example, if you are doing a new business and you want to launch a services, which is public service used by individual and stuff. So one of the key aspects is you start thinking about recovery, incident management. You do even asset management. You know, like this is your very important asset. This is not so, you have, let's say, the test environment, we have the production environment, and you start to classify your asset and select how to protect this. Sometimes even we go like geo-redundancy. And this is all is pushed by regulation. Now in Iraq, we see like the CBI is putting very restricted rules on all the banking sectors, financial services, wallets, banks, whatever. They are implementing very good set of rules, and they are doing a regular check. I guess even each quarter, they go into the data centers with the engineers, and they start checking point by point of the regulation, and they see how it's implemented, and they have to get a certification so that they continue their work. I would love to see some regulations as well as to be implemented for the other businesses, for the e-commerce, for the any live application connected to the internet. It has to be regulated by the government. It has to follow some standard. Their data centers has to be checked, everything. So one of the key things is how to ensure my business continuity. Actually, there is a set of rules. One of them is that like the incident recovery management. You have to think about building a redundant data center, building a redundant application, even like sometimes not for cyber crimes, even sometimes for the, like if we got a flood, if we got electricity shot or something, electricity damage, building damage, these are all have to be taken into consideration by building maybe second data center, data backup, whatever solutions to be implemented in the business.
Thank you so much. From the cybersecurity industry, we are not just focusing on the recovery, on the how to mitigate risks. We are focusing on how to give the sign of incident. When you are training your employees, they will know how to make difference between the situations. So they know how to see the signs of hacking, of something when it's happening on the system, on their databases, on their servers. So security awareness is to give them this size, to see it. This is how your employees will feel after you are providing them the cybersecurity awareness, and the disaster recovery is for not letting your data to be lost. In another section of key pillars of digital trust and resilience, we have user education and awareness. Dr. Jamal, how can the industry and government collaborate to enhance user education and awareness in the context of digital trust and resilience? The collaboration between...
So the cooperation or collaboration between the government and industry can take place in several ways. The first one, which the direction of the KRG is on this path, is PPP, public-private partnership, which I believe is the best solution for working together with the private sector. Because as I mentioned before, the government by himself cannot provide not just the KRG, all the government around the world. They need help from the private sector. So working together with the private sector is the best, the first one and the best one. The second one is training. The training of employee is the very crucial and important for the government to manage and supervise their systems. So these two items are very crucial and important for the cooperation between the government and the private sector.
Thank you so much. Mr. Haider, what measures needed to ensure transparency, accountability, and ethical use of technology? This is your favorite topic, I think.
Yeah, so we talk about transparency, accountability, and ethic. In the data, this is very important, because today we have surveillance systems everywhere. We have cameras recording and collecting data in a big data centers. We also have machine learning, artificial intelligence, collecting data from people, from their devices, and store it in big data centers. This data considered in the technical concept, we call it raw data. The raw data can be mined, and we do machine like data mining to come up with micro data. Who's looking in this map? Who can see it? Who's the team behind it? Who's the one, like what kind of people can see my private information? VIPs always, they look after, they scare about losing their privacy. Entrepreneur, businessmen, government personnel. Always there is a big concern about they lose their accounts, social media accounts, their emails. So who's looking into this? Now, the organizations who's collecting this data, they should have the responsibility, and they should be accountable for providing enough security to those to the user of their services, for not to be leaked, sent to the wrong side. There was a famous story about Edward Snowden and the NSA leak. He was a trusted person, accountable, and supposed to have ethic about keeping the data secure. But then everyone can see, like, well, Edward Snowden now. So going back to the ethic and the morality of how can we maintain the security of our customers' data, we also need to invest, this is very important, in the new technologies. There are AI tools that we can use in the cybersecurity infrastructure. These AI tools, they study the behavior of the trusted user. If a trusted user is always logged into his computer every day, and this user works for the intelligence, for example, or works for the National Security Agency, and this person always go to a specific folder and do the work as usual. After 6 months, this user start digging and going from one folder to another folder to another folder. The behavior has changed. AI will trigger an incident to the SOC team or to the SIEM, whoever in the cybersecurity team, and say, there is there's a new behavior from user X. Do you approve it? Do you want to share it with your manager? Do you want to go and report it to the high officer and say, we can see this person start accessing different data? So the user behavior also can be managed and checked by the AI and the machine learning. And this all fall in the benefit of the the people who trusted us and who give us their data to be stored in our platforms, whether it's a data center, whether it's a mobile application, whether it doesn't need to be a huge, massive infrastructure. It could be a mobile app with a small server saved on Microsoft Azure Cloud and accessed by 10 freelancers. Who are the freelancers? Nobody knows. Where they are based? No one knows. Have they signed any confidentiality agreement with the owner of the mobile app? No, nobody signed anything. They just wanted to launch the app, start using the app, offering the people to download and install the app on their phones, and then done. Data is breached, but no one knows. This is very important, the ethic and the transparency, and who is going to be accountable. One more thing, if you allow me to mention. Every organization, they should address the responsibility of the employees. I have the board, I have the business people, and I have the tech people. Who's responsible? We can't always blame the CEO. An organization has a data breach, blame the CEO. That's not the right thing to do. We have a CISO, Chief Information Security Officer. That CISO job was to hire the right people, to train them, to make sure that the framework is in place. So this is very important also to address the position and the responsibility inside the organization before people start blaming certain people in the organization.
Thank you so much, Mr. Haider. In all the points you discussed with us, I agree with many of this, but in AI field, the combining between AI and cybersecurity field, I would like to have Mr. Saif, what do you agree with combining AI with the cybersecurity field? AI can protect us from the incident.
Yeah, of course. Actually, nowadays, all the security services are based on the AI. Collecting events from the network. Let me talk about something first, which is the consolidated security. Now, before, in like 10 years back, the security was simple as the threat was simple. It was, there is virus, we have antivirus, right?
Fake beans.
We have data center, we put a parameter firewall or gateway firewall, and we were very happy, the industry was happy. Nowadays, all these basic security is no longer effective. Nowadays, we have very, very sophisticated attackers. They develop a specific malware for you. It's zero-day attack. So you have to use the right tools to do the protection. Let me start with the key pillars for the cybersecurity, which is the end user, the network, the cloud. Everywhere now we have these main aspects to protect the end user, which is your employee, your team, your even now, if you see after the COVID, a lot of us now working from home, working remotely. So you have a board workers, someone is traveling outside for a job and he need to connect to the data center and stuff. So which is the end user? The end user now, there is a new concept of security. We call it the zero trust. Even if you connect your PC inside the switch of the data center, you have to follow security measures to allow you to connect to these switches. Even if you are directly connecting or using you're using your laptop in a cafe outside, in the airport and somewhere in the world, you want to connect your data center, your important information, you have to implement security rules. This is a new concept. It's called the zero trust. The second one is the network security, which is we all used to know, the firewalls, parameter firewall and stuff. And the new security things is the cloud. Whenever you want to launch services, now you go to rent some cloud instance anywhere in the world, and you put your application, you run it, you secure, you open your website, and you start your business. You have to think about providing security in the cloud. You have to get extra, you have to pay something extra for securing these cloud services. So back to your point, after implementing all these security, we will start to receive a lot of events. So we have to do the correct event management, the correct monitoring tools, which is the SIM, the SOAR, to understand and make right analysis. This is the job is done by the SOC team. Every organization has to build and invest in a SOC team who has all the security knowledge, and they have monitoring this event every day. And when any rising activities or malicious activities, they will be alerted and they have to take the right action. Sometimes I go a customer meeting, and usually during the discussion I ask him, did you face any security incident in the past month? All of them confidently they say no, because you didn't have the correct tools to understand. Sometimes if you have a server that the CPU of this server increase at a sudden for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and go back normal without you doing, let's say, something, this is a security breach. Maybe this one, some attackers from outside is using your resources or trying to get in your network. Maybe data stealing is happening, okay? Or sometimes like there is a ransomware, malware inside the organization and no one knows. It starts spreading, maybe for a few months sometimes. Then at a certain time, it's do the data lock and they start asking for ransom, or maybe stealing data and sell it outside in the dark web or any place. So all these has to be taken into consideration. As we said, follow the rules, do the correct awareness, and security awareness should be done for all employees. Not only the IT are responsible for the security. For me, this is very wrong concept. Security has to be mandatory for all employees, okay? And in Fortinet, you can go to training.fortinet.com. You will find free courses, NSC1 and NSC2. It is very nice demo videos that bring you a lot of security awareness and how to do your job, how to be a participant in this security lifestyle. It has to be done. Actually, I prefer everyone to take it. It's free of charge. It is videos. It will take 30 minutes maximum.
Thank you so much for providing this free, and
Yes.
I hope our audience will get benefit from that. Actually, you remind me a point about targeting you personally. In my recent cases of cybersecurity researching, I found the company was targeted, each position, like CEO, the manager, HR, they targeted them personally. So that the email that they received was programmed in the way to be like directly programmed to be targeting that person in that position with the same credential stealing. So the person that programmed that script, he was trying to target them in personal. So imagine you are getting targeted in personal way. Someone targeting you, just you, personally, and programming a script, program, just to target you. Thank you so much for reminding.
I would like to add something. You mentioned the first day I joined Fortinet, I get my registration email. At night, I receive email. The sender is Fortinet Management. Fortinet Management at Fortinet, but the Fortinet, and the domain name, it has one letter change. They say, thank you for being in Fortinet. We'd like to thank you for your effort and stuff. This is a $30 Amazon redeem gift card. So I was very happy. Oh my God, Thursday I got $30. Wow, they're a very nice company. So, but click here to redeem your card. I said, oh, maybe it's something wrong, huh? So I take a screenshot, I send it to my manager. The signature at the end of the email is my line manager name, Salah Isawi, sincerely Salah Isawi. So I was about to click it. Yeah. It's a
Thanks for that.
So take a screenshot, which is I really recommend you to do. You have to do investigation. Once you receive such an email, you have to check it. Even if there is no link, only attachment, PDF files. Believe me, a lot of malicious malwares and stuff comes in PDF file, normal PDF file. So before clicking, verify it. You can call the sender. Did you send me this one? What is the purpose? Like that. So I take screenshot to my manager. I said, are you sending me a gift? He said, no. Oh my God. So this is a scam. Oh. So I delete the email and...
Yes, Mr. Aid.
There's something, it's very nice thing, Saif mentioned, that this is what we mean, what I mean by cyber security awareness training. We have a very nice tool built by our team that create this fake campaign. So a new employee join, we create the fake campaign internally and we send it to them. And we see if they click on it, then we sell them to the training. Come, you are the one.
You know, we're training.
And we do this we sell them salary promotion, click here to, so we see who's clicking on these emails and we provide the report to the CEOs and say, your team require more training. Your team needs more awareness to know more about what's the risk and how to avoid the risk. And it's very important, as Mr. Saif mentioned, that call the sender. If it's something to do with money transfer, this happens every day. Money transfer to the wrong account comes with the domain name, just 2 letters, swap, with this signature perfectly done. And then the CFO sends the money to the hackers and the money disappears. $300 million in one case. And this is a lot of money. It causes big damage to companies. So.
Thank you so much. In the next session, we are focusing on addressing emerging threats and challenges. My question to Dr. Jamal, what strategies and frameworks can organizations adopt to ensure ongoing compliance with the relevant regulation and industry standards such as PCI, HIPPI, and
So that's the main job of the government.
Yes.
To issue the regularity and the policy for the framework for the companies and for the industry. For example, now I mentioned before we have many data centers, and these data centers are the main source of the threat of the attacking. So if these data centers, according to the standards, it can be protected. For example, now we have many banks that their systems are stored in the data centers. I asked one of the bank, do you put the users' data inside here in Iraq? They said no. Why? Because they don't trust the data centers here inside Iraq. It said we use outside data centers. So this is the lack of the regulations of that we have. We need to, as a government, to reissue or reconsider what we have, because as I mentioned, we are behind the process. And as I mentioned, we have 2 parts of the government, the information technology from the council ministers and the Ministry of Communication. Even in Iraq, there is no, until this moment, the regulations about how to protect the data, how the data centers can be built, how the data can be managed, how they can be protected from the attacking, from the threats. Other threats that needs to be considered, like malware and other things to be considered, just as viruses and other things. These are famous that my friends talked about. Other threats that can attack the systems is like phishing. One of the example is he received it in his first day that there's a phishing email, and one of my cousins received the same, and his Facebook account compromised, and maybe we spent 6 hours to recover his account. Other threats in the data protection is inside. Sometimes the problem is inside you.
Right.
So maybe one of your employees not happy about the manager, and he need to do something wrong to make the company, like the fame of the company, to be ruined. So this can be regulated, and the responsible part for this one, I believe the government should do this policy and the regulations.
Thank you so much. Yes. Thank.
The internal employees is the most critical part in the cybersecurity, especially if you have trusted users. When you have trusted users, they are the people who we call system administrators. They can see a lot of things. The best way to protect, especially we talk about sensitive data, organizations, large ones like military maybe organizations. We encourage running data encryption for the data at rest and data encryption for data in motion. Data at rest, whatever file servers you have, run the data encryption on the hardware level and on the application level. Inside the organization, the data is readable. Out of the organization, the data is unreadable. If they steal the data and they go home and plug it into their computers, they can't read it. If a ransomware attack the data, cannot do anything because the data is encrypted. You need to decrypt it to apply the ransomware. Data in motion encryption is very important for the financial technology institute, the fintech, to encrypt the data between the ATM machine or the point of sale and the back end. Who can guarantee that this data is encrypted? So there are tools that you can implement to protect the data internally and externally. But again, it's how much you want to invest in your organization.
You reached a good point, and thank you so much. So, in the same field, what are the components of an effective incident response plan? Response plan, you know, it's really important for companies to have it, and how companies can, how can they know that they are ready to respond?
Well, this we can talk about this for a couple of days, the recovery and response. But in a short words, as we mentioned earlier, we need to implement a framework. The framework will include the incidents and response. What's involved? Building your SOC team, you need the SIEM and SOAR. SIEM will give you all the incident reports, and the SOAR will be your automated response. Also, you need your team, blue, purple, red team, well trained. You need to make sure that you have a data backup running daily, or maybe every 1 hour or every 2 minutes. And this backup needs to be checked regularly. The data integrity is very important in your backup. As a CEO or as a CISO or the CTO, you just need to walk into your system administrator room and say, is your backup running? Say, yes, it's running. Are you sure? Yes, I'm sure. Turn off the server and recover the data from the backup and show me that this server will be up and running in 2 hours. If your CTO comes to you and say, we have invested in site recovery with Microsoft Azure or with Google Cloud or internally with Veeam Backup, for example, say, all right, how much? It's $500,000. Good. So that means my site, if my site is down, yeah, all right. As a CEO or as a person, accountable person, walk into the data center and tell them, shut down the site, the live site. I want to see the active site down, and I want to see the standby site up with 0 downtime. This is the practice that we miss today. The board and the business people always distant from the technical people. Seeing the report is not enough. Do this practice. Do the data recovery practice every 90 days and make sure that the data is healthy. It is checked. Do the, as we said, the site recovery. Site recovery gives you 0 downtime. If you have downtime 1 hour, fire the whole team. Get another people working for you. And if the site recovery works for you, give them a bonus, pay rise. This is all comes to the decision makers and how you see your organization running for the next 10 years. That's what I can talk.
So actually, in summary, the availability and the reliability are the two key parameters for what you have.
Correct.
So the availability and the reliability. So if you can ensure these two criteria, you can say that you are in the safe side.
Of course. And what about downtimes? Always here in Iraq, we are looking to the servers that they have zero downtime. In one of my customers from the company, he asked it to have a system online because he had many offices. So the first thing I was thinking about to make it to be more ensured that they will not have downtime. I was looking for the servers that they don't have downtime. So zero downtime is one of the most important when you are thinking about to launch your server, to launch your application. You may have some business. You want to make it application. You want to make it a website. Think about downtime. Ask the developer to get to the server that has zero downtime in all the history. This will guarantee your data to be always available, because availability is one of most important in CIA, confidentiality, availability, and integrity. So you have to check availability. Thank you so much for reminding me about this.
Thank you.
Mr. Say, what are the key digital threats and challenges that organizations face today, especially in Iraq or in Middle East, and how they involve it in recent years?
Yes. Actually, nowadays we are in the digital era, and there is no more air gap network. Maybe we all think about, let's say, digitalization or very sensitive data from a threat perspective, but sometimes security threat is causing you an operation damage. Or if you are running a factory, if you are doing oil, like if there is oil field, sometimes we are hearing a lot of security threats that making this oil field stop, or big electricity, let's say factory that is being attacked and stopped, like what happened like in Ukraine, electricity company, or in even like of all, I guess all of us knows the news about Iranian nuclear plant. They attack it. They damage the nuclear plant by installing a malware that keep the CPU and the RPM of the equipment to the maximum, and it's explode. خلاص. يعني now cybersecurity is very important to ensure your business continuity. Maybe it's not related to data steal or ransomware, or it's very applicable in many of the industries, but even other industries like the OT, operation technology, now it's being under attack in very, very high numbers as well. So taking security measures, following a standard, is the best thing to do. You have to convince the management, you have to do the right investment with not to waste money. You have to balance. Usually security should be balanced with your business outcome. So this is one of the important things all we have to think about in our job in the future.
Thank you so much. We asked about addressing emerging threats and challenges. As they said, that may the damage will be that much that operation will totally be stopped, or maybe it will leave something like the software. Mr. Saif pointed to that. Maybe the software or the malware that will be installed on your system or server, it will be for a long time. So in the last session, Dr. Zamal, how can organization, industry, academia, high school, public work together to make this complexity of cybersecurity, data privacy, protectionist how we can work together, all of you, all of in HITEX, students, high school, primary school, companies, private sectors, all of us, we have to work together. So how do you see that, what we should start, how we should start?
That's my favorite part. Actually, because I'm from the research background, so this question is my favorite part, actually. Doing research is the key of the progress. You know, in most of the university around the world, they have two kind of work. One of them is teaching, which is the normal. You get degree, that's fine. And the half of the job is doing research. So I have spent 5 years in the UK doing my PhD. Most of the budget that come to the university is coming from the research part. So, and it's not individual, but what I can see here is people work individually and don't cooperate, collaborate. In other universities around the world, it's a group research. It's not individual. We are not Superman. So the group research getting fund from the industry or from the government or from other parties. For example, I remember we get from Nokia maybe more than 200 million pounds to install the 5G lab for Newcastle University, and from Siemens, from other companies. So what they get benefit when you are doing research, you improve what they have. So this is the collaboration between the industry and the academia. What I can see here, I give an example for this one. In 2007, I did my master degree in designing the SCADA system for Kurdistan region electric system, KRG, SCADA system, using the optical ground wire, which the fiber cable on the top of the transmission lines, power lines. I did my master within 3 years, and I spent lots of time, designed everything, and when it comes to the end, I used the simulation, MATLAB simulation, everything was fine, but at the end, I went to the Ministry of Electricity. I said, okay, this is my project, you can implement it, you have fiber cable exist, you can use this fiber cable for the communication company, you can rent it, you can design, you can interconnect. From 2007 until this moment, the OPGW around the tower lines is not used. So that's not the cooperation between the industry and the government. That's the main issue here. We don't believe in cooperation, in group work, but in outside, they work in group. It's cooperation. So in my site, maybe 2 months ago, I went to Duhok University. I said, any students want to do research, I am from the Ministry of Communication, because it's about 1 year I started this job. I am ready to help and cooperate with any students who work in communication field or now in cybersecurity. I can provide them support from the companies and giving them data. So anyone here or maybe someone who can watch us and see us, contact us. We are ready as the Ministry of Communication. We will start a new page. So let's start from now and cooperating and involving the academia with the real life industry. Because if you don't involve these two sectors, you are not getting progress. We are just waiting for the outside to come, and we are just the consumer. We are just using equipments, tools from these companies, bring tools, and we are just using it. But if we involve it, we will be participate in improving what they have. That's our goal.
Thank you so much, and thank you for giving your support as a General Director of Ministry of Transport and Communication for the students and the people that they're interested in the sector, to help academia sectors such as high school, primary school, universities, and from your point of view, I see that you advise to start it with the research. Thank you so much. Also, in the last session of our panel, Mr. Haider, collaboration and partnership. How can international collaboration among governments, industry, and academia help in digital trust?
Well, for the international collaboration and working together with cross-border organizations, I would say we start with defining what the cyber attack and where they're coming from. Most of the time, the attacker, they are coming from different countries. There are 90% of the hackers are based in different regions from the world. So every country has its own regulation and it has own law to how to deal with cyber criminal. Now, I would suggest, and this is probably a practice already been in place overseas in different countries, to start a cooperation between the intelligence agencies, the national security agencies in Iraq and Kurdistan region with the neighbors countries. For example, Turkey, Iran, Jordan, Saudi Arabia, to hand over any cyber criminal sitting there and trying to attack Iraqi citizen inside Iraq. That's one of the things. The other thing is the country who knows about those attacks should notify the country under attack if they know that there is a cyber criminal group attacking that country, because we can see many countries, they use that deep packet inspection, and they know that a group of hackers sitting, for example, in ABC city and attacking Erbil, and they are attacking one of the banks in Erbil. Then that country, if there is an agreement between the Kurdistan government and that country, then that country will notify and say, we have these people attacking you. What do you want us to do? Do you want to bring your legal team and take them to Iraq, or you want to sue them and do you want us to arrest them? Because usually they don't take action unless there is a legal request. The other also point we should highlight is to allow companies, the private sector from other countries, like our company, for example, to come and invest our effort, our people, our money in Kurdistan and transfer technology to Iraq, transfer technology to Kurdistan region. But to have that happen, the government should provide maybe facilitation, and they should also invest in this kind of corporation. Finally, the countries who has attacks, an active attack on another country, and they know that this is affecting the other country, as Mr. Saif mentioned, the nuclear reactor, or maybe it's a power plant, shut down the whole country, there is no electricity, or maybe attacking the water refinery, and then they should be aware that this is an act of war, and the other country may react and may start a real war, not a cyber war. And so the cyber war today may lead to a nuclear war. That's why this is very important with international cooperation in the cyber security. And they mention it many times in the G7, the G20. They talked about how bad is cyber attacks affecting the American corporation, the European corporation, even in Australia. Australia lost millions of dollars in the last, maybe billions, because every year we lose millions of dollars.
Of course.
From the attacks coming from some part in Asia and in Eastern Europe. So this is an important thing that maybe the KRG government and Iraqi government, they should now start putting a legal team and start talking to the other ministries from other countries and sign this kind of agreement. And I'm sure Dr. Jamal will agree on this, because this is your area of expertise.
Thank you so much. My last question to Mr. Saif, in the same field of collaboration, how to collaborate stakeholders with the government and academia to develop and implement practice, as you are account manager of Fortunate company, or stakeholders to make this collaboration work. Just stakeholders and government, academia, how do you see it?
Of course. Actually, we in Fortinet, we have very famous training academy. I guess now I see in Iraq a lot of IT engineer already taking Fortinet courses. So I really encourage you to go and visit training.fortinet.com. Okay, there is a series of certification levels from 1 to 8. 8 is very difficult. Yes, it's need a big lab and stuff. But the first two, NSC1, NSC2, is free of charge. It gives amazing security awareness as a basic level. The others is more product type of certification for the firewalls, for the FortiSIEM, for the SOAR, for the analyzer, for other security solutions that we provide in our company. Second topic is that we do as well a lot of online summit. So you can follow Fortinet at the LinkedIn page, and we announce a regular security summit with our expertise from worldwide, and we do it actually regularly, and we take all the industries. We do one for the OT, one for the financial sector, one for government, one for IT-OT convergence and stuff. So we are contributing a lot to the industry from the research perspective. We do a lot of investment as well on the research and on our AI and FortiGuard services, so that we can provide these nice solutions to protect against the new threat landscape.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
At the end of our sessions and the topic that we discussed, all the panels that they are here, Dr. Jamal from the government, Mr. Saif from Fortinet Company, Mr. Haider, CEO of
They can visit our booth and
Network Company.
we have a booth just right behind you. If you have any question, please don't hesitate to come and ask.
We hope you all get the answer of your questions about this industry, because right now cybersecurity is one of the most important industry that the market growing is for billions of dollars, and it's growing. And as we have AI, blockchain, and I am assuring you that the third one is cybersecurity industry. So if you think that there's something you have to invest in it, it is cybersecurity. And I would like to go on with the questions that you have for my audience. Yes, please.
You said,
Assalamu alaikum. I have a few questions actually, and I want to make something correct actually about the AI. Nowadays, the most of companies doesn't rely on AI to cybersecurity, especially in antivirus product, because machine learning have a lot of false positive while analyzing the hashes and signature of malwares. In this case, the antivirus companies try to use the signature based to detect the malwares because it have a low level of false positive. And my second question is, in a cybersecurity in Kurdistan, that's only virtualization. We always doing the exploiting on metasploitable labs and some labs from Try Hack Me and Hack the Bogus, and that's not a real world cyber attack. And about your answer, that's a zero downtime, that's not using by a booter and don't use it by a VPS, virtual private server attacks. For example, I know someone in Russia, it told us we can download the Microsoft and PlayStation server for $1,000 for 1 hour. Okay, and that's making not sense. And my last question is how Iraqi and Kurdish government can respond the cyber warfare, because we have the Pegasus in Iraq and Kurdistan. The Kurdish government and Iraqi government just watch it like a movies, and with no reaction, and calling the external teams to analyze the Pegasus spyware. Thanks.
Thank you so much.
So I will.
Mr. Steve or Mr. Hadi, which one you like to? Because you didn't mention who you like to answer you or give you more information. So, Mr.
I will answer the first question about implementing AI with the cybersecurity. Actually, we are using the AI technology in each and every Fortinet product. AI is something you cannot skip in your life. With the digitalizations going on, with the we are moving forward. We are relying on AIs in our FortiGuard services because, as I told you, we are collecting events. What makes Fortinet very successful is the AI story, because we are collecting the events and the threats, attacks from all the networks worldwide. In Fortinet, we are supplying 50% of the firewall of the worldwide. So we are doing billions of events checking through the AI per day. So, and we are getting results and implementing new signatures based on the AI feedback. So this is first question.
Mr. Haider, do you have anything to add?
Just regarding your question about the hashes and the AI, I encourage you to speak to Louay Mohsen. He's in the booth. He's a senior software developer and solution architect and specialized in AI. He's with us in the booth. If you have any time, please come and ask.
And from my side,
I can answer the government part as well. So you asked a very good question. Also, I have the same feeling about involving AI with the cybersecurity. But as a government, we have a project which is called Fiber to the Government. Our engineer, Mr. Dilzad, he is the supervisor of this project. Fiber to the Government is the project for the whole Kurdistan region, starting from Kufri to Zafo. And until this moment, more than 3,800 directories of the KRG is provided with a fiber cable. So the next step, now one of the company, Tarinet, is providing for the FTDG fiber cable for Erbil and Duhok region, and IQ networks for Soleimani and other region. So this network at the end of the project will be intranet. Now at this moment, they provide internet for the whole KRG system. But at the end of the project, this can be an intranet. Only the network can be separated from the outside. So the data of the government can be better protected. So maybe that answers your question as well.
this.
Just repeat. I cannot hear you.
I can hear you. Yeah, he mentioned about the
Sorry.
tapping. Yeah,
The isolated network and air-gapped network for real attackers for 0 days for a nation-state group is not making sense, because they can use insider, as we see from Stuxnet, and we can use any kind of tapping to capturing the sensitive data. And
that's a good question. Yeah, I know. So if you protect from the outside, it comes to the inside, as you mentioned. The inside, as my friend Haider said, AI can solve this issue as well, because if any unexpected activities happen in your own network, you can easily find where's the problem. So this can be captured. But the main issue is if you protect yourself, your system intranet from outside attacking, the inside is about yourself.
So can I add something, Dr.?
Yeah.
So for the external attacks, IBM has a solution called Runduring this solution it is called today Attack Surface Management, or ASM. Attack Surface Management, they run a vulnerability check on your environment from outside. They don't need any internal presence, only from outside. After they get your permission, they will run the test for a couple of days, and then they will provide you with an insight about
Solution.
all the attacks that's happening at the moment, and what solutions you need to implement inside the organization to protect from external attacks.
And I have one last question, please. Sorry. They are talking about recover, the data, disaster and recover. Nowadays, the ransomware and malware at least delete the shadow copy and delete every backup from the system. And in this time, the recovery and backup is not making sense. Instead, we have the physical backup on this data. Because modern ransomware, it delete the shadow copy and at least delete all the event logs from that's an event of delete log, that's 1102. That means the attacker delete all the event logs. So in this time, the recovery and backup is not making sense. And I want to add it one thing for incident response, how when a government and when a company infected with the ransomware, first step, isolate this device from a network. Second step is shut down this computer because it's take a little times while the ransomware try to encrypt the backups and modify every registry.
That's a very easy practice in the cybersecurity. If you have a proper EDR system in place, which is the endpoint detection and response, then that machine will be isolated and cut from the network instantly. So there is no need to worry about if that machine will be sitting there forever. No, it's already been taken care of with what we call EDR. So the endpoint detection and response is to find the bad endpoint, cut it from the network, and then give the IP address, the user name, and if there is any other data or metadata about that point, to the SOC team, and the SOC team will take care of that machine.
I would like to add some. I'd like to add something about the EDR. The Fortinet EDR solution. It has a patent in the detection and the response to the ransomware. Ransomware, I'm sure you all know about it, is that the malware or virus that encrypt your data and ask for ransom or steal it and sell it outside. So it's very, very, very critical things, and it is it's already addressed in the solutions as my colleague Haider is talking with the EDR. The EDR, Fortinet EDR has a patent about the how responding to this one. Usually, the regular response is that you have, let's say, a process that encrypts your data, and the key, you don't have the key to decrypt. This is the normal attack. So what the other EDR solutions doing is that they have a backup and they restore it immediately and they delete the encrypted data. In Fortinet, no, we have a patent here is that we stop this process. Once we had a shadow copy of the memory of this process and the data in the memory, and once we detect that there is an encryption process started, it killed this process, it reported to the SOC team, it's even if one or two small files getting encrypted, it's restored back from the shadow of the copy, so you don't need to invest in the resources of the servers or important applications. So this is very nice solution.
Thank you.
Okay, just to add one more information. So you mentioned about the attacking and the recovery. If your DR is according to standards,
Yes.
so you don't need to worry about this one. So about the downtime. The second one is we mentioned about that you need to be updated. The employees and your system. For example, if there is a new patch for your system, for your software, you need to update, you need to upgrade immediately. Most of us, we are using smartphones that there's an update. If you read what's an update, say that there are some security issues needs to be fixed. So you need to update this one. It's up to you to be updated your system and update your knowledge at the same time. The second one, as my colleague mentioned, it's easy to isolate the part of the system which are affected. So you don't need to be worried about the whole system.
Yes, in Kyrgyzstan government, we have any hot fix and cold fix and bug fix team. In Kyrgyzstan government,
Okay.
we have hot fix team. We have it. That's like a question. We have a hot fix team and we have a cold fix and bug fix. We have this team. The hot fix that's fixing the vulnerability like a bug fixes. We have this team that can fix a vulnerability from our systems. We have this team in Kyrgyzstan or Kyrgyzstan government.
We are not hearing the team name.
My question is, in Kyrgyzstan government, there are any groups and teams such as hot fix, cold fix, and bug fix. That's all related to vulnerability and patch management.
Yes. And if you have team that responsible for doing this, right?
Huh?
Battle management.
Can you come in so we can't see what you're saying.
Patch management. Patch management
Okay,
team.
yeah, I told you that we have two companies who are responsible for this one, and they have expert people. I know both of them, Tarin and IQ. They have expert people in the top level that are responsible for this one. Yeah, I'm sure about this.
Thank you so much. Any other questions? Yeah. Hello for all three of you. Thank you for the great honor. My question is, I have a question for each one of you. For me, I'm a junior security engineer, cybersecurity engineer, as well as a software and informatics engineering student. So I have a question for Dr. Jamal, for the government. Are there any plans for the government to start teaching cybersecurity in universities? For example, in our department, in software and informatics engineering, we have software, we have networks, we have mobiles, but we don't have anything related to cybersecurity. And for Mr. Saif, are there any plans for companies like Fortinet, for example, to build labs in the universities so students can take expert level courses, for example, with Fortinet in the university? And for Mr. Haidar, are there any plans or what are the positions available for cybersecurity engineers in the private sector that they can work in it after they graduate from universities? So he's an engineer now. He wants to work in the private sector. So what are the available positions for them?
So, as a short answer, the opening any department at the university, it depends on the Ministry of Higher Education. Okay, that's the first one. The second one, if there is a student needs cooperation from us, we are ready to do this. Okay?
That's good. You have that support.
Yes. For us, we are really open for any collaboration from the universities. We would love to do that for sure, but we are not being contacted from the universities or staff. If your university are interested, I will share my contact with you later. And yes, we are happy to build and invest in this part, like building labs inside universities, and so the students can get benefits and get hands-on on these equipment. Yes, we'll be happy, of course. But till the moment in Iraq, we didn't face it. I see academies from the universities in Baghdad and others are getting like say very normal courses for that, which I believe it's not so. For now, it's not very effective. Of course, if we go deep and specific lab use cases to be implemented, it will be even easier for you, the students, to understand and to adopt quickly. And you go to the market, you graduate, you are very ready to engage and work in any company. Yes, but you can find a lot of videos on YouTube, on our channel, on something about Fortinet Solutions, the product, hands-on demos. There is a lot of videos on YouTube available. In the meanwhile, if there is if the collaboration is not finished,
Thank you so much all for coming and participating in such a panel about cybersecurity. From their point of view to this field, there is a chance to improve this industry that is new in our region, but it's not new in other side of the world. But we have the support of government, we have the collaboration, we can make this collaboration to be happen. And I hope that from what Dr. Jamal said, for how to make this collaboration with the academia, with the high school, with the university, the support from Mr. Saif as a fortunate company, how to make this collaboration, because the first step to make this happen is a collaboration. Making the collaboration, then we go to solving other issues. And Mr. Haider, as their staff is ready for answering your questions. Anything you have, they have already participated at HITEX, and if you have any question, you can ask them later. Thank you so much for participating at this event. Thank you so much.